Hi guys. So today we're going to continue with our skill of main idea and details. So the main idea, remember, is pretty much just after you read text, you think, what was that all about? And that's the main idea. Sometimes in chapter books, you might even find a main idea paragraph by paragraph or chapter by chapter. For us today, we are going to read a nonfiction text on evergreen trees. And as you listen to that, I want you to be thinking about what is this all about? What's the main idea? Now, in order to support the main idea, to prove that that is what the main idea really is, you have to be able to give some details as well. So today, for our assignment, as you listen, I want you thinking about what the main idea is and coming up with four. I think it's four. Sorry, we have an assignment. Yes, four details that will support that main idea. So it's details that go with that main idea to say, yep, I know this is the main idea because it said this, okay? At the end of this video, this is the assignment that you will have in your Dojo student portfolio. The main idea will go in the little tree in the middle, and then you've got four details to put around each corner, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so that we can read the text together. There we go. See if it's going to let me go to different pages. Awesome. So the title of our nonfiction text is called Evergreen Trees. This is a type of tree that does not lose their leaves in the winter, So we know a lot of times in the fall, leaves start falling off the trees and they get pretty bare through the winter. But evergreen trees do not do that. They have these little needles, or what those called, instead of leaves, and they stay on all year round. So that makes them evergreen because ever means always. So they're always green. They don't lose their leaves. And that's where that word comes from. This text is split into different sections. So this is the table of contents that breaks apart the 7 sections that we will read together, kind of like little chapters, but they're very short. Okay, so section 1 is the history. Section 2, fir tree farms. Notice this word is F-I-R and not F-U-R. F-U-R is fur like on an animal, okay? But F-I-R talks about this kind of tree that does not lose its leaves. Section 3, picking out a tree. Section 4, decorating. Section 5, artificial trees. Artificial is another word for fake, like Christmas trees. When you think about it, you can go out in the woods and you can chop down a Christmas tree and put it up in your house and it would smell nice, and you can use it that way. Or you could buy an artificial Christmas tree, one that you can use over and over. My family, we use an artificial Christmas tree because I'm actually allergic to the smell of the real Christmas trees. And I don't want to always have a stuffy nose in my house during Christmas time. So we use an artificial tree. And so that's what that word artificial means. Artificial just means fake or pretend. Section 6, differences. And section 7, photo gallery. So that's just going to be where some pictures are. All right, so you might want to listen for the main idea of each section, but then to do your assignment, you're kind of thinking of the main idea of the whole text, evergreen trees. Okay, so let's read together. The history. The tradition of using evergreen trees at Christmas comes from Germany. This became popular in the second half of the 19th century. Back then, people used to only use edible items, that means things you can eat, to decorate their trees. That means they used things that could be eaten like apples, pears, and nuts. They were also lit with real candles. All right, so think about that. Instead of Christmas decorations and ornaments like we use today, they would actually hang things on there that they could eat, like apples and pears and nuts, it says. And real candles, I would think we'd have to be awfully careful about that. We wouldn't want to start an actual fire. So now we just use the lights instead of real candles, right? We wrap Christmas lights around our trees. Section 2, fir tree farms. Have you ever seen a farm dedicated to only growing trees? You probably have. When you were driving out, you look over and off the interstate or something, and you see just rows and rows of trees. That's probably an actual tree farm. Okay? It is quite beautiful. The seeds are planted in straight rows, so it is easy to walk through them. Fir trees stay green all year long. Evergreen trees are grown in all 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska. Okay. Section 3, picking out a tree. Have you ever picked out a Christmas tree at a farm? I have not. Some families walk through rows of trees and then cut their own tree down with a saw. Special machines put the tree in a net. It looks super skinny now. The trees are then loaded on top of the car and they drive it home to put it up. Last but not least, they will be decorated. So these are for the people who will go cut down their own trees. You could also go to like a tree lot, where they've already cut them down for you, and you can buy a real tree that way as well. You don't have to go out into the woods to cut your own tree down. In fact, if you do, better have permission for whoever's property that is, right? Decorating. Although trees used to be mostly decorated with edible food, now people usually decorate their trees with plastic, felt, or glass ornaments because they can be used from year to year. Some kids like to make their own ornaments with paint, yarn, or craft sticks. Parents keep these ornaments for sentimental reasons. Do you have a favorite ornament? Okay. We have a lot of ornaments on my Christmas tree before we had to take them down because Rocky was playing with them, that my kids have made when they were little. And those are always the ones that are most special to us. And that's what it means when it says sentimental reasons. It always reminds us of our kids when they were little. So if you've ever made your parents any ornaments, I bet you have those on your tree as well. If you haven't, maybe this would be a great year to do that. Make something good out of 2020, right? Next section, artificial trees. Some people use artificial or fake fir trees. The reason might be that they are allergic to a fir tree. That's me. Or they may just not like the mess that the needles cause when they fall off the tree. So if you have one of these, you probably have seen like just piles of needles eventually fall off and you have to keep sweeping them up. Although I find that happens with my artificial tree as well. I still have little needles that fall off and I still have to do some sweeping. They may think it's more convenient to get a tree that can be used year after year or is pre-lit. Pre-lit means you buy it with the lights already on it. What are your thoughts? So what kind of tree do you have at your house? Do you guys get an artificial tree that you can use over and over again? Is it pre-lit? Are the lights already on it? Or do you get a real evergreen tree? All right, let's keep going. Differences. It is important to remember that not everyone celebrates Christmas or has a Christmas tree in their house. If your friend celebrates different holidays than you, make sure to ask them about their traditions. And I want to talk a little bit about this. Even within our own classroom, not everybody celebrates Christmas, and that is perfectly fine. Everybody has their own holidays that are special to their family, and it's usually based on things like traditions from their family or religion and customs that they have from maybe where they're from. And it is perfectly fine for us to have differences. That's what makes us all special. But if you don't celebrate the same things, this would be a great time to talk to your friends or even other family members that have different traditions than you. So it'd be a great time to talk to them and ask them about their traditions. And you can learn a lot about someone and about different things that maybe you are not familiar with. So it's important to celebrate the differences that we have with one another. And of course, we would never want to make anyone feel bad about either celebrating Christmas or not celebrating Christmas, right? Okay, let's keep going. I think I'm right here. Our world is a beautiful place because we are different and celebrate in different ways. We learn so much from each other. It would be kind of boring if we were all exactly the same, wouldn't it? Yeah, that wouldn't be very interesting. Photo gallery. So here's some evergreen trees. Here is a tree that they put up in London, England. Okay. This is in New York City, probably the tree in Rockefeller Center. That's like the big tree that they always put up every year. Obviously, it's a new tree each time. They usually cut one down from somewhere in America, and then it travels through across the interstate until they get it to New York City. This year, I heard that when they got the tree to New York and they were putting it up, they actually discovered that there was a little baby owl inside of the tree that had made its nest right there, and it had traveled all the way along with the tree, and they ended up having to get that baby owl to like a special bird sanctuary or something, I think I heard. Here's another tree in Moscow, Russia. So they put up Christmas trees there too. And even in Singapore, here's some Christmas trees. All right, so that is the end of our nonfiction text. So if you think maybe I went through it too fast or you didn't quite get it all, just rewind this video, go back and listen to it again. And then when you're finished, you can go on into Dojo and click on this assignment and tell me you watched the video. And then you can go into your next assignment called Main Idea Tree, and you may complete write the main idea in the tree and give me details from the text. Don't make up anything from your brain. It has to be details from the text. Please, second graders, you're big kids now. You should be writing in complete sentences, right? And don't forget to start those sentences with capital letters. A lot of the work that is coming into me lately. That's my alarm that says it's time for a Zoom. That's my, a lot of work that's been coming into me lately has not had capital letters, and a lot of times punctuation is missing as well. I understand if spelling is not perfect, although I should be able to tell, to be able to figure out what you're trying to say. But you have to start your sentences with a capital letter, and you have to end them with the correct punctuation mark. You guys are old enough to be able to do that consistently. All right. I hope you enjoyed learning about evergreen trees, and you may go ahead and get started on your next assignment. Bye, guys.